All right, we're alive. How is everyone doing today? Today's the day. All right. I hope everyone is having an amazing weekend so far, wherever you are. $360 people out of the gate. Beautiful. All right. Give me a thumbs up on the video if you are hearing the audio well. Let me know that you could hear me clearly. And then we're going to kick things off as usual. Beautiful, beautiful. I think we'll get this up to 800 people today. People are doing thumbs up in the chat. All right. We're good. All right. Well, we got about 400 people. Just say hi to some people in the chat, and then we will get things going. Mr. Jansen, I appreciate you showing up, brother. Hope you're having a beautiful weekend in the Matrix. Melaine, appreciate you. A little bit of my chat got cut off in the beginning, but we're all good. XRP Cats, hope you're well. Gonzo, sending lots of love over to you, brother. Hope you are amazing. It was great to connect with you and the 3T Warrior Academy a couple days ago, right before this critical moment in history, the JUBILEE. Shout out to the 3T Warrior Academy. Definitely go check out that podcast that we all did together. Good Morning Crypto Show. That was dope. Lots of spice and gems being dropped as usual. All right. Matt Ball, hope you're doing well, brother. Great to have you here with us. Everything is great. Creating as usual. All right. Got a super chat from Adam Arias. I appreciate you, brother. It means a lot to me. Grateful for all of your support. You said happy 365, baby girl Ainsley. So happy to be sharing the day with WatersAbove. Is that your baby? Is that your child that I'm doing this B-Day shout out to? Is that what this is? If so, sending you and your family lots of love, brother. I appreciate you. At first, I wasn't sure what I was reading in the chat, and then I kind of pieced it together. Shout out to Ainsley. And I appreciate your support, Adam. Hope you are doing amazing. Kate Bishop, hope you are doing well. Chimera. Cameron McDougall, hope you're well. Much love over to Slovenia. It's so great to have so many people from around the world tuning into these. Yeah, a lot of people have been prepared for this exact time. Again, it's a weekend, it's a Saturn day, so the markets are closed. We have crypto trading alone. We are well aware of all of the code that is leading into this next week. So please just watch my last couple YouTube videos and you'll know exactly what's going on. We're not going to really be getting too deep into, it would just be repeating ourselves at this point, but you guys get the drill. Next week is a very, very important week because Monday, September 18th, will be the first official day of the new Hebrew year after a Jubilee. The Jubilee is now over as of tomorrow night at sundown. That'll be the end of Rosh Hashanah. But because the stock market is closed, you're not going to really see it as noticeably right now, of course, but we got to give it some time. We talked about this in the last video. We got Wednesday with the FOMC meeting coming up. I'm sure that's going to be some fuckery as usual. And then we have the whole transition into this energy with the next solar eclipse. So I think we've spoken about this so much now, it's kind of at the point where we were going to hang out today and do this live stream to talk about life, to talk about what matters most, actually. And I tried to drop a lot of those gems in regards to mindset in my last YouTube video because that's really what makes you a more sophisticated investor. It's what makes you just better at dealing with whatever happens, whether that be in the market or on the world stage. This is sort of a time frame to anticipate that things will happen on the world stage that are not favorable for the masses. But for people like you that have been prepared for this, it's just another day in the matrix for you. You already had a plan. Hopefully, you will trade that plan or you will respond to that plan, whilst most people are just going to be reacting to it. Most people are just going to be complaining about it on Twitter. I know that won't be you. So if you're listening to this right now, consider yourself a glitch in the matrix. You're a divergent. Got some coffee, some really good coffee from Say in Brooklyn, New York. Radiation matters. Happy New Year, everybody. Appreciate you showing up. Radiation matters. Hope you're having an incredible weekend so far. One second, family. Yeah, and one other note to make now that we got about 580 people. Just be reminded that we're moving into the 38th week of the year starting on Monday as well. I was just talking about this, how we will be kicking off the new trading week on the official new Hebrew year end of Jubilee. And that 38th week tied back to the code of gold. We've spoken about this quite a bit, moving from lead to gold. Well, that's what we're doing. We're literally moving into that energy right now. And when we talk about this, we're not literally speaking about the precious metal gold. We're talking about the alchemical process, transmutation. We're talking about having a change that comes through all of these rituals that were going on with fire, then moving into water. And if anyone who's tuned into this right now lives in New York or New Jersey or on the coast of the East Coast of the United States, perhaps the Carolinas, tune in to the chat and just let me know how things are going there right now with this whole Hurricane Lee thing and these three systems that have sort of combined into one. I've heard that it should be noticeable by now, if not tomorrow. But let me know in the chat. Again, we hope you're all safe. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family, of course. but I know we have a lot of wolves over on the East Coast. Anyways, let me get back to this video. And we are looking at the beautiful state of Utah right now. Hope you guys are enjoying these visuals. It's like one of my favorite visual videos to watch. Randy asks, how are you today? I appreciate you checking in. I'm doing better every day. Life is beautiful. Life has chaos. Life has darkness. I have figured out a way to shine through that darkness and enjoy it. To feed off of the chaos and be a producer in a world of consumers. So for me, every day is an opportunity. Every day is an opportunity for us to process whatever's going on and do something about it, to actually take action. And those small actionable steps, whether it's 1 hour a day or 10 hours a day, just those small actionable steps compound. That compounding effect is very rewarding at the end of a year. I've heard of this recently about this, what is it, 1,000-hour rule or 10,000-hour rule? It's pretty fascinating. Something like 18 minutes every day of committing to something could essentially make you an expert at the end of a year. And it's fascinating. I actually do agree with this. I think about 30 minutes every day of focusing in on something could be life-changing. But most people are spending 7.5 hours a day, just fucking scrolling on TikTok or whatever. Mindless. It's hard to make change when you're just mainlining dopamine every minute of your waking hours, and then you go to sleep 8 of those, hours of the day. You go to work, which is a necessity, or you take care of whatever you have with your business, family, and then all the other time is just scrolling. That could do a lot of damage to you over the years. That could undo a lot of that compound effect of progress. So you need to disrupt that, Be a disruptor. So that's how I'm doing today. I wake up every day and I ask myself, I check in with myself and I say, how could I be a disruptor? That's essentially the most influential thing you could be too, instead of just being influenced. The 99%, the collective, they're influenced. And I believe everyone who's tuning into this right now, something that you have that the masses do not have is you are not obedient. Every time somebody tries to force you to do something, your intuition flares up and you say, I don't think I want to do that. That's the difference. This world likes docile, obedient people. And I know that's not you. That's a very big reason why moving into the rest of this year, it's going to be easy for you guys to take advantage of whatever happens, because 99% of people are unaware. They have no idea what's happening. And when everything is mediocre, it makes it easier for you to be excellent. It's important to remember that, because a lot of people right now in the world, whether they're extremely conscious individuals or they're just in the process of waking up, there could be a lot of self-esteem things going on. There could be a lot of lack, a lot of worry, a lot of feelings of like being insignificant for whatever the reason is. It could be stuff that's happened in the past, or it could be stuff that's literally going on in their reality tunnel to this day. Got to check in with that stuff sometimes, though, and remind yourself of what you really are. We say this all the time. Like here, we're not teaching anyone anything. We're helping each other remember. We're wiping away this amnesia. And we know what the New World Order or what the apex predator does best is they have a systematic method and strategy to keep you from wiping away that amnesia. And they do that by distracting you. The more distracted you are, the easier it is for you to keep chasing the bait. Most people spend their entire life, a lifetime, chasing bait at the tip of a hook of a global elite regime that doesn't care about any of us, and the only thing they're worried about is extracting your prana from you. They don't even need your money. They could print the money. So the number one way to not get caught up in this cycle is to stop falling for the distractions. And whenever any of these psyops happen, be very cautious of how much energy you give it. Be cautious there, because that's another trap. And we've seen this happen time and time again. So many people in their awakening process, they think that they're making progress, but actually what happens is they get so deep into the rabbit hole of something else that's going on that they disregard real life. They disregard their families, their loved ones, their children, everything else that's going on. And they get caught up into the flat earth fucking theory. Now, I'm not here to talk about flat earth. I'm just giving a very popular example. We watched it happen during C19. And people started to learn about germ theory. And once they started to learn about germ theory, they watched everything in their life start to just crumble to pieces, because everyone started to become divided on how they felt about what some organization was saying and telling you how to live. And it got extremely divided because of that. And for what? For what? So if the New World Order is unable to get you in their education and indoctrination camps, then they'll be able to get you on the distractions on social media, mainstream media. They can't get you there. They'll get you with... It's just like such an interesting thing how incredible they are at playing this chess game of manipulation. I always refer back to it like a chess game because they're just thinking 20 moves ahead. The NPC is only thinking about their next move, and most of us are in that bandwidth of catching up to how many moves ahead. Some of us are 5 moves, some of us are 10. Just by being a couple moves ahead, you're already 10x more capable in this matrix than the average person. Again, a reminder of what I said earlier. When the majority is mediocre, it's easy to be excellent. And when we say excellence, we're not talking about anything egoic here. We're not talking about the idea of you having more money or more cars or more whatever bullshit. We're talking about you having more sovereignty, more freedom. And freedom is its own story, right? Many think they're free, but they're actually enslaved by their own minds. When we talk about freedom here, we're talking about an awareness of what you actually are, which is a spirit, soul, infinite consciousness. This realization makes it so that when you come here to this matrix, to this simulacrum, that you come here and you are fearless every day. The one who is fearless does not take orders. All right. Got about 760 people with us. I hope you're all doing amazing. It's so great to have everyone hanging out here on a Saturn day. Bundy says, "Hey Jordan, I made it to India. Been studying your mastermind courses and your red pills have been fire lately. I appreciate you." It really means the world to me. Louis says, I'm saving up to buy your course, but until then, I must ask questions. Can you explain what causes dry scalp or dandruff? Can fasting help get rid of it? A million thank yous. So anything that comes back to dry skin, there's a couple of things we could do here, but one of which is just exfoliating. Now, you probably are dehydrated. I don't know how much of my work you've studied, but a lot of the time when it comes to dry skin, if you are effectively hydrated, or we want to isolate it down to the scalp. I don't want to go into too many directions here. I want to stay on track to answer your question. But when it comes to the skin on the scalp, I don't know if you're bald. I don't know if you have a full head of hair. I'm not really too sure of what's going on for you. Are you balding? You know, like what else is happening? It's hard sometimes to answer these, but if you are effectively hydrated, a lot of the time dry skin or skin on the excessive flaky, skin on the scalp is just coming back to exfoliation, or you are using product on your scalp and you need to stop that. You need to stop using shampoos and conditioners. This is going to destroy your crown chakra. So you must stay away from chemicals being put into the skin and be very cautious whatever soaps you use. So I'm not here to promote what I think is the better product, but a universally easy to access product that I believe is decent enough to use maybe like once a week would be like Dr. Bronner's liquid soap on the scalp. That stuff's pretty solid. But really, I just don't know what I'm working with here. Are you going to the ocean often? Are you do you live in a desert climate? There's so much here. You know what I'm saying? But I would say best practices are stop using shampoo and conditioner. Start increasing the amount of raw, natural fruit, and stay away from excessive processed foods that are fried. This is going to definitely impact skin. And then when it comes to the scalp, exfoliate it. It's very simple. You could just run your fingers through your hair. Like you could just give yourself a scalp massage. There's always going to be skin cell production. Actually happens quite quickly. So sometimes people confuse just the normal natural skin being replaced and they confuse that for things like dandruff, but it's actually not the case. And all of these products that promote that they will get rid of dandruff, that is bullshit. It will do it for you momentarily, but in actuality, in the long term, it will destroy your hair even more. It will make it so that it expedites the process of balding. It doesn't do shit for you. And anyone who's going to start promoting products here, this is the number one way to go. We've heard this before. So even when I brought up the Dr. Bronner's thing, it's really, I'm cautious about saying these sorts of things because all of the purpose of that is to just remove excess dirt from the scalp. That's about it. Seriously. There's no miracle here. There's no supplement you could take that's going to help you. Everything is within you. So if you're having any problem on the skin, on the epidermis, if you're having any problem with your hair, nails, eyes, teeth, that comes back to the way you eat. And there is no product, supplement, or anything that can reverse that. It might be able to do it in the short term, but then your body will adapt to that very quickly, and you're not solving the root cause of the problem. There is no true solution here in a product. So you have to change your diet. You have to change the way you eat. You have to change the way you think. I got a super chat from Dual Citizen. I appreciate you. You said, it's my birthday too, but couldn't miss this. Appreciate all you do, even if our opinion on certain things differ. Much love. I appreciate it. And it's funny, you sent the 589 super chat. Much love. I've said this many times. I'm not here to be agreed with. I have zero desire if people agree with me, because truth isn't about agreeing. Truth is a dance. And sometimes I step on your feet, sometimes you step on mine. But we're not here to sword fight, we're here to dance. We're here to be in a symphony together. All of this right and wrong and agreeing and disagreeing and who's telling the truth and who's lying, this is like saying that the drum player is lying because it's not playing the same thing as the guitar player. Life is a band, okay? It's not that one person's right or one person's wrong. It's just we're all creating our own sound. We're all giving off our own frequency. This is what makes it beautiful that we're not necessarily quote unquote agreeing. It's a beautiful thing that we all have a slightly different version of what we believe is the truth. That's what makes us unique. So I would never, desire for people to agree with me. I'm not here to make you agree with me. I'm here to make you feel things. I'm here to share ideas that make you feel like, when you're in a plane and it quickly drops, and you feel that weightlessness, like when you're on a roller coaster, when you're on an elevator and it just has that quick drop effect and you feel that weightlessness for a moment. That's what I want to create for people through exposing and being vulnerable, sharing my truths. I have zero desire to have people agree with me. I used to want that, but that was because my ego had some healing to do. And if you're somebody that you want people to agree with you, or you listen or consume, and you're always judging whether you agree or disagree, then please take a moment to move from your mind to your heart right now and give this wisdom a shot. When you consume, stop trying to find something that you agree or disagree with and look at it as if you were looking at a performance, like you were literally going to see a show. When you go to see a band play live, you're not saying I agree or I disagree. You either feel the music and you resonate with it, or you don't. So when you consume, you start by believing in yourself, never believing outside of yourself, and you resonate with everything else that's happening outside of you. This is the process that sends you towards mastery. It's the consumer that is stuck in this cycle of left, right, up, down, blue, red, right, wrong, true, lies, agree, disagree. That's duality consciousness. You guys that are here today, you've transcended past that. I know this. And I'm not speaking about what I know. I'm speaking about what I know for you. You made it here because you're on your quest for unity consciousness in a world that has been parasited by duality consciousness. I got a super chat from Crypto AO. I appreciate you. You said your vibe is always so chill and peaceful. What do you say to someone living day by day with anxiety and feeling lost? And then you said, OMG, as I type this, you were saying you were going to talk about life. Okay. Well, I actually got this question during a interview with Coach JV over at 3T Warrior Academy, or it was sort of similar to this. And you need to create your own essence. I talk about this in my expansion mastermind course, how this idea that you're a product of your environment is actually why the world has succumbed to all of this blame game and victim mentality nonsense. If you are in the chaos, create the peace. No one's going to fucking create it for you. And it's so easy to tell people, like, stop being depressed, stop being anxious. You hear me often talk about these ideas, and you never hear me say, don't be depressed, or don't be anxious, or don't. What I say is embrace the suffering. Embrace the pain. The pain is teaching you. That chaotic feeling that you have, the depression, the anxiety, that is your higher self pushing you to a place where you will learn and expand the most. We've been conditioned to be afraid of that place, but that place is the most beautiful stage of this video game. Go there. Stop fucking avoiding it. That's the biggest lesson you will extract, the most consciousness you will extract from life is through what you believe is your darkest and deepest depression. It will make you the man that you know you can be and that you will be. And if you keep avoiding it, if you keep trying to figure out a way to detach from it, as they say, which is another nonsense idea, then you will stay a boy. You will stay a child. The king isn't waiting around for the crown to be put on his head. He goes and gets the fucking crown. I know this is spicy. Sometimes it's tough for people to hear these sorts of things because we live in a world where everyone wants everything handed to them. We think we deserve shit. This matrix isn't deserved. There's nothing here. This is an artificial simulation where you were given this realm as an opportunity, and you either succumb to fear or you embrace love. It's either or. And it's the one who actually faces the fears and gets over them, not detach from them, but actually go through hell, to walk on the hot coals. That is what you might believe is a depression, or you might believe is the chaos, or what you might believe is the worst time of your life, or what they call rock bottom. Well, right after rock bottom is heaven. Create heaven. Heaven and hell are a place on earth. You just decide what you want to do. Also, I got this question several times in the live chat and over the past day in emails and messages. So yes, I do have the flash sale on my courses. It will be live until pretty much the next 24 hours. That's over on WatersAbove.com/JUBILEE. You'll also see in the pinned comment here. And all you got to do is just add whatever course you were interested in to the cart. At checkout, you could apply this promo code JUBILEE. It will give you a 20% discount. It's one of the biggest discounts that I've had ever. So if you want to take advantage of that, again, I have these 3 full courses. The Crypto Mastermind focuses mostly on investing, crypto, creating investment thesis, portfolio building, learning how to read the charts, also learning how to decode crypto, specifically crypto. And then it goes into my exit strategy blueprint, which is included in this course. It's typically just a smaller product, but it's been added to this to make it even more valuable. And that'll teach you how to de-risk, how to actually take advantage of any profits, and how to respond to the next bull run cycle that we're moving into. So having this knowledge and awareness, especially going through the entire course and the exit strategy blueprint, will help you significantly in preparation for the next bull run, because so many people have trouble at that phase. They get into bull runs early. Let's just call it they get into their assets during a bear market, and then they get greedy during a bull run. They never know when to take profits. They're getting lost in the cycle of watching, YouTubers and tweets and all of this stuff, and they never have a strategy that they can utilize on their own based off of their finances, their cash flow, what's going on in their life, and then how to be responsible and actually trade a plan when that time comes. That's what this is all about. It's not about getting the perfect top or about anything make believe, like these dramatic, insane price prediction targets that are fairy tale land. This actually has methodical, provable strategy that can be used. And then the expansion mastermind is a lot of stuff that we talk about here on these live streams. You guys probably have heard me talk about it a little bit over the past couple months, just because we're preparing to add some new content to it. So there will be about 8, 9, perhaps even 10 new videos added to this expansion mastermind very soon. But right now it already has, if you just click on it, you'll see about 80 videos. So has a lot going on, and it's everything from mindset to health and wellness. Definitely talks a lot about fasting, about how to ideally consume when it comes to food. And then Advanced Trading Course is for those that have some awareness of how to read the charts. They actually know how to do TA. They're ready to start actively trading this market. It's for a specific type of person, so just make sure that you read the description of this. But I appreciate everyone's support. Again, this will be on sale until tomorrow night. Just kind of a little last minute flash sale. And if you go to WatersAbove.com, you could always just click the top here and it will send you to this page that I'm talking about. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see some more descriptions. And then if you click on any of the actual courses, you will have full broken down description of what is going on inside of this course, as well as you can scroll down to overview, click this tab, and it will tell you every single course lesson that is in the course, as well as all of the courses are a one-time payment for lifetime access. So once you purchase, you will have it forever. And again, appreciate all of your support. That just kind of answers everyone's questions about that sale, and could get back to the live stream now. Also, I appreciate all 800 of you for tuning in. This is the biggest live stream we've ever done, officially. So it's beautiful to be here with you guys. Why Wise says Happy New Year for all Ethiopians, year 2016. It's really funny that you say this because I don't know if he's hanging out with us today, but Fasil, one of my expansion group coaching members, somebody that I've got to know quite well and have a lot of love for him. And he was just talking about celebrating the Ethiopian New Year. And you guys probably know that I love Ethiopian food. I love Ethiopian coffee ceremony. I've studied a lot into that culture. And we talked a lot about Ethiopia in the expansion group coaching call that we did a couple days ago. I was talking about the Ethiopian flag. Let me get to that really quickly. This might be a fun thing to talk about now at this stage of the live stream. And a little bit of the history of Ethiopia is it's one of the few nations that was not fully colonized in what is called Africa. And what I wanted to talk about with Fasil is the psyop of the name Africa and where that comes from. Like, Africa is not actually called Africa. That's from Africanus. So we'll type this in just so we could show you. So just go research this. Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus was a Roman general and statesman. This is where the name comes from. It's like all things, it leads back to Rome. All roads lead to Rome, still to this day. But it is not what Africa was called before him. That's nonsense, his story, right? They call it history, but that's his story. And that history is written by the winners. And the winners don't tell truth, but they do scatter some truth in everything. And you as decoders can see into what that so-called truth is by decoding it. But let me load up this flag because I was talking about Haile Selassie, emperor, and considered to be a god in Rastafari. We have so much kind of going on about that time. We can't get too deep into it, but I do recommend you'll do your research. It's fascinating. this color combo and this circle, blue circle, throat chakra, pentagram, sign of protection, and this color scheme of the royal blue with the gold. So I've talked about this many times when it comes to the decoding side of things. People talk about the Ukraine flag. It's funny, people back at the time during the Russia-Ukraine invasion, they started talking about my colors that I use. And like my channel was out a year before anyone in the world even cared about Ukraine. The whole world stage started to care about them when they were told to care about them. And before that, no one gave a shit. It's so funny how sheep act when they're told how to behave, when they're told what to care for. And then conspiracy theory types start to conspire even deeper, and they make everything, have to be like nefarious. This blue and yellow color scheme is not nefarious. It has nothing to do with the New World Order. It's just fucking colors. And the colors represent something in nature, okay? This is how you grow at decoding. Because when people first get into Gematria, decoding, numerology, astrology, there's this like instantaneous wanting to point fingers at some elite family or something. But that's, it's on purpose, right? They want you to think everything is like evil or satanic or Luciferian or whatever word. That's not how it works. Your gold is simply the sun. Your blue is simply the sky. This is just the sun in the sky. This is the as above. And then you have your so below. And then it is as within, so without. This symbol is a symbol of protection, the pentagram. When it's inverted, it's still a symbol of protection. All of this concept that an inverted pentagram is Luciferian and all this shit is a distraction. It's a distraction. Anywho, I had fun talking with Facile and the expansion group coaching about this symbolism and this flag, and everything tied back to this. This is the Lion of Judah. This is the sun. This is the sun portal. And there inside you have your pentagon. You guys know about that. That had everything to do with the 9/11 ritual. You had Tower 1, Tower 2, Tower 7. That is Yakin, Boaz. And that's the 117. That's your 7/11. 7 is September 11th. Then all of that energy from those three towers gets sent to the pentagram, the pentagon. This is sacred geometry. It's just ritual. It's witchcraft. It's magic. This is protection. The pentagon within the pentagram, within the circle. Okay? But yeah, shout out to Facile. Much love, brother. I hope you're tuning in with us, and if you're not, if you're listening to the playback, appreciate you. Bearable Bull. I see that you're in the chat, brother. I hope you're doing very well. You said interesting month ahead, my friend. Emergency podcast coming soon. Yeah, let's do it, bro. Let's do it. Shoot me a call later, man. Who's down for another Waters Above Bearable Bull collaboration? Let me know. DD Delicious says, when will you speak with Donut again? I'm asking the same thing. Shout out to my brother Donut. I have no idea what he's been up to. We haven't spoken in a long time. I really hope he's doing well, because the last time that I spoke with him, I think he said he was in Hawaii. I'm not sure if he's still there, but I hope that he wasn't caught up in all that mess. Yeah, shout out to Donut Factory. I hope he's doing well. I mean, if he hears this, or if anyone wants to reach out to him, let him know that Waters would love to collaborate again. Also, it's been so long, so when we do get back together, I think that it's going to be a ton of stuff to talk about. Be interesting. He's always finding gems, and he shares the gems with me, and then it allows me to go even deeper into the decode. Pancho Villa says, Jordan does better collaborating with Jason from Archaics. Yeah, it would be great to collaborate with Jason again. I've said it so many times, you know, in the past couple lives. It's not working out. It's hard to get connected with him. Hopefully, Jason can get out. Excuse me. Hopefully, Jason can get in contact with me, and then we can make something happen. I know people really want us to collaborate. Also with Logan, because we did that three-way roundtable between me, Jason, and Logan over at Decode Your Reality, and that was fire. Probably one of the best conversations I had all year on record. So, would love to get back together with them. Anna Anushka, I appreciate you being a YouTube member for so long, 8 months. Got the black pill next to your name. I appreciate you. You said we're either in tuned or not. This system is a attention-based illusion. Grateful for being able to be in this space and sharing authentic realness. That's absolutely it, Anna. I just look at it like we're witnesses, okay? I know this is gonna touch some people in a way where they're like, ugh, why does he feel this way? Because it takes away my externalized lord or whatever. But we're real ones here, and we got to keep it real. And this is the sauna, and it gets hot in here, you know, and we got to sweat together. All Christ is a witness. That is you. You are the Son of God. God is your imagination. God is your essence. God is your ego. God is your soul. It is all of the things that make you in the spirit realm, but what makes you you in the physical realm is Christ. You are the King of Kings, the Alpha and Omega. You are the first and the last. Without you, there is no universe, because without your witness, there is no reality. So we are absolutely in an attention-based simulated reality. You are the witness. You're the one that's looking at this screen right now with the horses walking through the desert. You are the eyes. You're the camera lens. That's it. You are the eye in the sky. That's tough for people. A lot of people don't want to be. They really don't want to be that guy. They rather be a side character. A lot of people don't want to be the main character in their own movie. But every single one of you that are here right now, all 850 of you, potentially thousands, tens of thousands by the time the next 3 or 4 days from today, if you're listening to what we're talking about right now, you are the divine witness. That's it. You're the divine witness. You're the physical expression of the all. That all is your mind. That's your imagination, your ego. That's soul. Let me get through some of this chat. Not sure what happened. R. Foshi says the firmament is someone's handiwork. That's for sure. Yeah, that came back to Warner von Braun's tombstone. Talk about this real quick. So Warner von Braun's tombstone had just one thing written on it. It was Psalm 19:1. Okay, and when we look up Psalm 19:1, King James, we're going to see what this says. It's so deceiving when they use this word heaven, because in Genesis, they're basically calling the firmament heaven. But you could see this right here. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. That's interesting. that the guy who launched the Apollo missions, was the head of them, of the so-called moon landing that we filmed, has only this Bible verse written on his tombstone, and it legitimately says the term firmament on it in the Bible verse. So of course you have Genesis. And in Genesis, you're going to see this very early on in line 6. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven." This is where I get my name from. So, absolutely mind-blowing. If there's any book to read out of all the books, it's Genesis. Read this, but read it with the eyes of a decoder, not the eyes of a believer. Because if you read it through the believer, you're going to be really fucking confused, and you're going to walk away with no utility. Every line for line in this is full of juice. It's full of glorious truths that are written in parable, and you must look at it with the eyes of the wise. But in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. God created above and so below. The heaven is head, heaved up heaven. When you are coming out of your mother, when the top of your head starts to come out, they call it crowning. You are crowned at birth. You are the king. The king has been crowned. You come out of your mother's womb. Womb in French is matrice. Matrice means matrix. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Well, that's really interesting because God creates the heaven and the earth. But then now this God is moving above or upon the face of the waters. So were the waters there before the heaven and the earth? Were the waters there before God was even there? Think about this. But this Spirit of God is just air. So you have your water element, you have your earth, you have your air. And then even heaven starts to get separated. The ideas of darkness and light starts to get separated. This is in Greek mythology. You have Eberus, you have Nyx, you have days. This is where we're getting all of these words from too. It's the origin. I'm going to be breaking this down very thoroughly in the Decoding Mastermind that'll be coming out in a couple months. To the point where when you're done with that course, you're going to be able to reread the whole Bible and have a whole different outlook on it. So, and God said, "Let there be light." God spoke. God says, "Let there be light." That's frequency, light. And God saw the light, witnessed the light. God witnessed it. And God divided the light from the darkness. We're starting in duality with a Trinity as a creator. We have to now create dualities and then turn those dualities into trinities over and over and over again. That is how creation works. You have creation in the real world, which is mother, father, child. You have mother, father as your positive, negative polarities. They create. That child now is your trinity. That is your translator between you and your wife, or your wife and you. And then this is your story that you hear time and time again throughout all the mythologies. This is your Isis, Osiris, Horus. And God called the light day, or die, and the darkness he called night, Nyx. And the evening and the morning were the first day. It's fascinating. There's so much to be saying in here. I love some of the things that are revealed in here, like really mind-blowing stuff. One of the best ones is the one about fruit and how fruit is made for humans. And that is the only food made for humans. And animals are purely to just be named by us, not to be consumed. And animals consume a specific thing for themselves. It's revealing so many truths just within the first page. It's amazing. Really, really amazing. Let me know in the chat what are some of the versions of the Bible that you guys are most interested in. There's so many of this plagiarized, re-scripted book. Ooh, Jubilee Bible. What's going on with this one? We're just having fun right now in the chat. We got about 900 people with us. Hope you're all doing incredible. Sending you all lots of love. Gonna move past this in a moment. Just looking at a couple of these. Talking about cows, cattles, that's Taurus, Taurus fields. The middle of your body is called your torso. Your Taurus. All right, let's move on. We're having fun though. We were really just talking about Wernher von Braun's tombstone, and Psalm 19:1 also shows you the importance of this number 19. You know, we just had the C19 psyop. This number 19 is very powerful. 1 is A, 9 is I. AI, artificial intelligence. We know that during the whole C19 event, that was to push forward these newer agendas, such as AI. And we have this 1 in the background. You know, that's the 119, the 911. Which we just made it through the 22nd anniversary of that. So right around that time frame, look at what was going on in the world stage. Mass flooding rituals. You saw the flooding that was going on in Greece. Well, what about what just happened, I think, in Libya? Devastating. I need to look into this just very quickly. I'm hearing like 20,000 casualties. That's really tragic. Yeah, one day ago, 11,300 death toll. Wow. Yeah, you know, here on this channel, we're not pushing fear porn. We're not trying to like go that route. We're not playing blame or anything like that. But I told you guys, like, we are to continuously have these rituals around this time because this is how the New World Order operates, especially as we are transitioning out of a Jubilee year. They must ritualize it as much as possible, and this is clearly the case. The amount of flood rituals that all happen simultaneously. Just think about it. This is unprecedented. What did Greece have? 3 years of rainfall in 3 days? Like what? All right. Pancho Villa says, Kierkegaard would disagree with you and say subjective truths are the only thing that exist. Well, that's good for him. But I'm my own man, and I have my own truths. And I respect every creator for what they believe is truth. But as far as I understand, we all have our own reality tunnel on an individual level, and then we have this collective reality tunnel, and 99% of people in this realm are here to be a part of that collective version of this, and I am not here to be a part of that, but I am here to work with that. But I am a glitch in the matrix. I am a divergent. So whatever any philosopher or any wise speaker of the time had to say about the idea of truth and their philosophy, that is that man's philosophy. And I, again, will double down. I don't care or have any concern about who agrees or disagrees with me, even if it's one of the most prized minds in the realm. I'm here to do me. I'm on my own frequency. That's the unique imprint that I will make in this realm, and that's the only thing that concerns me, because I am speaking from my heart. I'm not here to learn. I am here to unlearn. I appreciate all of you for showing up. It's beautiful. 900 people hanging out with us. Hexagon Hero says fear and love is just another duality. No. Well, it's just a spectrum. If you were to just draw a straight line and cut that line in two and put on one side love and one side fear, it's just like alkalinity and acidity. In order to operate harmoniously in this realm, you must be slightly alkaline. As a human being, sorry, let me be very cautious here. As a human, we must be slightly alkaline, right? We go into the acidic side, we start to have dis-ease. We start to have inflammation. We start to go towards death, decay, rot. Now, it's an inevitability that we pass on. It's an inevitability that we decay. So it's not by avoiding this. It's that we're aware of this duality of fear and love, just like we're aware of this duality of life and death, or aware of the duality of this picture that we're drawing of the line and it being cut in two with this halfway point, and how once we're slightly on love, we're now here and we have 1 foot in the matrix and 1 foot out of the matrix. We're not here to just completely detach from the fear or detach from the darkness or detach. No, we're here to embrace it. We're here to learn from it. We're here for it to teach us lessons. But if we don't operate slightly on that love side, like as if our body was slightly alkaline, we will decay at a rate that is really doing only one thing. It's serving one purpose. And it's that prana that you decay in that acidic side or in that fear side is you literally giving up your life force energy to go to the global elite. So, yes, there is duality. We must admit this. As we look at this video, we see there is dry land and there is water. The duality isn't the problem when you've entered unity consciousness, because you can now utilize this duality. You can utilize the awareness. When you are trapped in the duality consciousness, this is where it harms you. This is where you play victim. This is where you have a very difficult time transcending these problems, quote unquote, or the depression, quote unquote, or any of the lack you have. I'm not here to say disregard the duality. I'm saying become the falcon that flies above it, that looks down at it, as we are this drone right now, visualizing ourselves moving above this landscape. There's a trinity here. So yes, we do have this binary of love and fear, sure, but it operates on a spectrum. Where do you fit on that spectrum? Are you here to be consumed, which would be on the fear side? Are you here to produce? Are you here to fight and go to war, which will be the acidic side? Or are you here to be at peace and collaboration with your people? Are you here to destroy your people, or are you here to live in harmony with your people? Now, the reason why I said you only want to be slightly on the love spectrum is because when the love spectrum gets taken to the far end of it, you know what that becomes? That becomes worship. That is how cults operate. That is how we get caught up in some of the biggest psyops of all time. So be cautious. Everything is about balance, right? But when you're at that midway point, perfectly balanced, that's really a technical place to maintenance. It's very technical to maintenance. I'll give you guys a picture in your head of what you can imagine that would be like. Imagine you bought a brand new car out of the perfectly brand new, like out of the factory brand new. That now on this spectrum that we're drawing out, this line that's cut in half, your brand new car is right there at brand new, right in the middle of that line. You know what happens now? You have anxiety because the next scratch you get on the car, or if you're turning like too fast, or if you press the brakes too quickly, you're now ruining your brand new brake pads. You're now putting a scuff on your You see where I'm going with this? You can't be in the middle perfectly. It's impossible. And brand new is being an infant. That's boom, center point. All right? Then you get born into this world and you're fucking taken straight to the fucking alkaline side and you're just hanging out there like shit. You don't even know what's going on. But the whole world is essentially built with a foundation that's against you. Even the ignorance of your own parents, unfortunately, is against you. Unless you're lucky and your parents have this gnosis. But if I had to draw out like some pictures for everyone, we must be slightly in love, as if the body wants to be slightly in alkaline to be at home, closest thing to homeostasis. But the middle point perfectly, the so-called middle path and walking the perfect line down that, impossible. Because that has this, will I go slightly left or will I go slightly right? Will I be imperfect? Now, my take on perfection is that it's the imperfection that's the beauty. Perfection is computer. Perfection is clone. Perfection is just replica. It's the imperfection that's the true beauty, not the perfection. It's when your car gets that little scrape that's actually what makes it beautiful. And if you don't have that realization yet, then you probably don't create art. And I'll go even further with this. This is why AI is going to be very troublesome, because AI will be in this pursuit of perfection. And when you have an AI guitar solo, you're not going to have the emotion in that guitar solo, the slight mistakes that you would have in that guitar solo when it's being played live, because there is nothing to play it live. You guys know a band that you love or a singer that you love or any performance that you love. And you know when you hear it on record and it's like perfect and it's right there on tempo and it's keeping on key? Well, when you see that band play live, it might have more emotion now. It might have this room for variable. And what makes you want to be at that show is actually the fact that it's not the fucking record. You enjoy this new, slightly imperfect version of those songs you love. You see where I'm coming from? You get the most prana, not out of listening to the record, but going to the concert. So you seek the imperfection, actually. And that's the whole point here. In this spectrum of love and fear, and being slightly on love protects you from essentially decay and giving up all of this life force essence to fear of the what? What's the worst that could happen? You could die? Well, that's going to happen anyways. So what are you worried about? You worried about tomorrow? Well, tomorrow isn't here yet. You see, it's just a condition of your mind. It's a mental state. It's heaven or hell. I'm just saying, be slightly in heaven. Now, when you go to the depths of heaven, you become an obedient, infatuated, worshiping slave. So protect yourself. They want you to worship. They want you to warship. They want you to be at war for your ship. Literally, think about these words. So the thesis, the theory, unity consciousness is the transcendence of one's operating duality consciousness and realizing that you are the Trinity or the witness, the observer, which then promotes you naturally to being the unit, the one of all. The Neo becomes one. Then as you transcended that, you must never disregard your roots. You always honor the duality consciousness. There it is. That'd probably be a good course lesson to make, actually, for the expansion mastermind. Okay, Simba hits 88 keys. This is really important, all right? You said alkebulon, all right? Now, I talked about this with Facile when we were talking about this idea of Africa. Africa is not called alkebulon. It is not, okay? That is, again, perpetuated similarly to a lot of the so-called truths of people like Jordan Maxwell or, Albert Pike or any of these people, Manly P. Hall. okay? There's many of these people that are so-called historians that have decoded this, like, the truth of truths about all, but like, Africa is Ethiopia. It's Ethiopia. That is Africa. It's not Alkebulan. I know that Larry Gators and a lot of these people, they're basically like the other side of the Jordan Maxwells. Like, they play on that whole other side of that culture, if you will. And I'm not even going to go there, but it just is what it is. And again, it gets perpetuated. There's many of old world maps that people could go out of their way to study, and they see what we're talking about here. Anyways, I don't want to spend too much time on that. Alkebulan, the name, being the true name for Africa, is like the Russian doll psyop. It's the psyop within the psyop. It's like going from ball earth to flat earth, and then you disregard that we might actually be much different than both of those ideas. But both of them have some truth. First of all, we could be an actual ball that has a glass dome above us, that it has curvature, but we are on a stationary flat plane. It's not necessarily what the flat earth believers perpetuate, though. And this whole ball with a crystalline, dome structure could be submerged inside of water, like a snow globe inside of a fucking body of water. That's the idea behind the waters above versus the waters below. So if you're sitting on this idea that it's either Africanus or it's Alkebulan, it's the same game as ball earth versus flat earth. It's missing that depth. I'm not here to say like necessarily it's wrong, because it gets you perpetually on a path towards seeking. When you hear Alkebulan for the first time, you start to seek now. You get curious. You go, okay, that resonates with me because it's not what I've been told. But that's the same trap as flat earth. So I just say be very cautious there. Be curious. Be curious. Jerry, Texas says, "You changed my life for the better. Thank you." Jerry, I didn't change your life. You changed your life. I was just here to help you remember. I was here to help you remember that you no longer need to give away that life to something outside of you, and that you could store that within you, and you could use that as a power plant within you to expand consciously, therefore being a better, stronger, more resilient, self-reliant man who now, by being that and embodying that, makes the other people that you get in contact with or that are in your space influenced and start to be actionable on the path of their self-reliance whilst they were once enslaved. So, although I appreciate your words, I just want you to know, I'm just here helping you remember. Billy X said, "So it's no Luciferian, but it's magic." Billy, everything is magic. It's just the magician is the only person who has this awareness. That's it. Everything is alchemy. It's just the alchemist is the person who has this realization. When this Luciferian term is brought up, it's clearly a sign that somebody doesn't quite know what it is that they believe in. They've just been told so much by the outside world that if it is not this pure Christ-like path that you've been brainwashed into, indoctrinated into through the Abrahamic religions, well, then it must be Luciferian. It must be the other thing. But when you become more aware of what's happening here, of the magic, of the alchemy, of the Gnostics, of the deeper knowledge, the gnosis, you see that there is no utility of a Christ unless there is a Lucifer. Because there is no light without dark. They're one of the other side of the coin. You need both. And that the ascended masters, the people who are really, really making some headway here in this matrix, have honored both. They don't just worship one of them. You don't just worship the dark. You don't just worship the light. You remove the worship altogether and you just honor them for what they are. You honor the darkness because without it, you would not even know what love is. You would not even know what beauty is. You would not even know what good is if you had no evil. This is why love, backwards, is evil. Don't look at the code. Just look at what I'm writing. Okay? It's the same word. The alchemists can see this because they have the eye to see. Their first eye works. Everything the alchemist does is mirrored. We're literally showing you alchemy right here. It's not about sitting in a fucking laboratory. This is it. This conversation we're having today is it. Alchemy is the process of being able to transmute whatever it is that you were stimulated by into something that has a higher use case or a purpose or utility. It's not just floating around in your mind palace doing nothing, taking up space, storing, like a hoarder. There is no love without evil. This is why they call it evolution. Bravo Bravo says, I found you from Donut. Well, that's dope. FNU Clone says, what happened to Santos? I have no idea. I've never met Santos. I've never spoke with him. I'm close with Logan, Decode Your Reality, who is very close with, well, I wouldn't say very, but is very close with Santos more than most people because they've lived in a similar area. They've hung out several times. I know that, they've met enough to be considered friends, and I that's my only connection sort of to Santos, but again, I've never spoke with him. I have no idea what's going on in his life, but I wish him the best. I hope that he's doing amazing. Somebody said the Hopium Hippo, the hippocampus. Nick F. I appreciate your super chat. You said, tomorrow is 666 months from the 1968 date the U.S. announced the two-tier pricing system for gold. This was the precursor for the 71 gold standard issues. That is incredible, Nick. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being such an active member in our community. Nick is in our Mastermind community over on Patreon, and he has been a high contributor. Excuse me. I should probably take some water. I've been talking for a moment. 1 second, family. Anyways, yeah, Nick has been really helping the community out. So it's beautiful how, yeah, wow. Just to see people taking my work and some of the things that I've explored, or people that are influenced by other people's work that are bringing it to our community. It's just, it really makes the value of what we're doing unmeasurable, special. Appreciate you, Nick. And thank you for sharing that. And again, I really appreciate your support. It means the world to me. You know, I've been talking about September 17th for so long, being the last day of Jubilee. So that just aligns perfectly with what and it's funny, like right now there's 917 people in the chat, and if we were to go by Gregorian calendar, 9/17 is September 17th, which is the date you're talking about. Like, how synchronized is that? Like, you can't make that up. But I've been talking about that date for so long. You know, we've been very, very, very prepared with this. So the fact that you found that gem, it just adds on, you know? How many other synchronicities do we need? I've been getting a lot of questions about things like crypto IRAs and traditional IRA, Roth IRA, SEP IRA, self-managed accounts, trusts, a lot of this information. And I'm in my process myself of organizing everything I believe to be the best strategies for these sorts of things, like getting into real estate, precious metals IRAs, setting up different, just strategizing, financial planning. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but for 2024, which is very close, just a couple months away, I will have something new that I'll be launching. The biggest thing I've ever launched. And I'm really excited to get into that, to share it with the world. And I can't give too much away right now, but just know that we're just getting started here. And that's a big driver behind this new decoding mastermind that I'm about to put out, because it will take everything that I'm doing in the decoding mastermind, the expansion mastermind, and the crypto mastermind as like a trinity, if you will, and bring that all together into something comprehensive that will be based around wealth generation, wealth preservation, and just how to go about the 2024 year so that it is the most transformative year of your life. So I'm dedicated to that, and I'm really excited to move forward with something outside of my typical works that I've been sharing with you guys for the past couple of years, and put everything that I've specialized in before I started the crypto channel. Like, I have a lot going on in my life before this, of course, before WatersAbove, and just figuring out a way to take all of that knowledge and to pack it into something that could be put together for people so that literally within 6 months we can see dramatic change. Dramatic. And what better year to do it in than the year of what could be the last real explosive bull run. So I'm really excited for that. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to hype it up too much. And as I mentioned earlier, I do have this flash sale going on my website. This is kind of like preliminary base foundation building for the next big project. And it's 20% off right now throughout this weekend. So it'll be ending tomorrow. You could use promo code JUBILEE at checkout. And if you're interested mostly in what we're talking about here on these live streams, then that's the expansion mastermind course that you'd be the most interested in. Let me see really quick. Lolo Blondo, I appreciate that. That really means a lot to me. It's so great to have broken our record of listeners joining into our live chat. I don't think we've ever had 800, and today we've made it to 900 and have maintained 900 for a while. So it's just amazing. Probably be getting these to 1,000 soon. And it's so great to be able to communicate with so many people at the same time live, and answer all these questions just completely unscripted and talk about life. I really appreciate y'all. Alexander Earl says, Jordan, I want to say thank you for the decoding mastermind course. You put so much. Okay. Appreciate you. Much love. That really means a lot. Kate Bishop said, who is the God that created the firmament? Well, that's the thing. That's really the chicken or the egg story, right? We've all been wanting to know. It's the same thing as where was I from before I was born and where do I go after I die? The only thing that matters is your witness in the present moment. It doesn't serve us to know who is the God that created the firmament. Your eyes created the firmament. The mind of man created the firmament. But the theoretics of who comes first, the chicken or the egg, it's paradoxical on purpose. Somebody said, what happens when we die? You know, in Grand Theft Auto, when you die, have you guys ever thought about this? In Grand Theft Auto, when you die, you respawn at the hospital. That's what happens when you die. You respawn in the hospital. ZSH, I appreciate your super chat. Oh, you asked a great question. All right, this is going to be good. Appreciate you. You said, hey, brother, do you have any hacks to get back in flow state? Yeah. So the biggest thing regarding flow state is you have to have a target. You have to have something that is moving you towards something, right? You have to have something to go for. It's like you don't just get in your car, start the car, and sit in the driveway. You had some sort of plan of where you're going. So if you don't have a plan of where you're going, where are you flowing to? You're not flowing. You're stagnant, like a pond. And a stagnant pond collects scum. Yeah? So just make it, simplify it, right? When we think of flow state, you need to have a target. And what I say is don't try to achieve your target. Don't go for, it's not even about that. It's that you operate from your target. And this is flow state. Now, we do this by not having an outcome, but we do have something that we're moving towards, but we don't really have the outcome. Now, let me kind of delineate what's going on here. The outcome has expectations tied onto it. So if you're going to be in a race, you know you have to get from here to the finish line. And now you're competing against all these other people. And some people, one person's going to get the gold medal, one person's going to get the silver medal, one person's going to get the bronze. But if you have this I need to win mentality, that could definitely serve you and that could definitely fuel you. But it's always the person who operates in their purpose, from their purpose. And they do this by being in the process that have the most likelihood of succeeding. So we need to have a target. You operate from that target so you can flow, and then you stay in process and you look at mastery from the sense of process rather than the vantage point of outcomes. This will get you here. This will get you present. This will get you into what we call flow state. When you break out of that flow state, you need to be quickly reminded of where you're headed. For instance, when you pull over your car on a road trip, you know you need another 3 hours to go on this road trip to get to your destination. Well, naturally, you might have to pull over. You might have to get some gas. You might have to get a little bite to eat. You might have to use the bathroom. But then what happens when you're done doing those things? You get back in your car and you start driving. You don't finish eating and using the bathroom and then start scrolling on TikTok, for 5 hours and then start a conversation with the guy that's like, you have to get to where you got to go. So there needs to be a sense of urgency. And what I say is that purpose is now. Purpose has a sense of urgency. If it's not urgent and you don't feel the desire to actually immediately take action, then it's not your purpose. And then you're going to be caught up in forcing yourself. So this is the thing. When you operate from this purpose, when you feel purpose, you don't need to have somebody keeping you accountable. You can do it on your own. You don't need somebody to inspire you. You can inspire yourself. You don't need to feel that I'll get around to it, or maybe I'll do it later, or perhaps I'll start next week. You want to lose 10 pounds? You don't fucking start next week. You start now. So it's the people that are very lackadaisical and they have this on and off switch that really suffer. And remove the fucking on and off switch. Just get it away. You have your target, whatever amount of time it takes you to get flowing there. That's all that really matters. You can kill time all day. You could press the pause button on life as much as you want, but then stop bitching and moaning when nothing gets done. Because it's only you that is pushing the gas pedal, and it's only you that's pushing the brake pedal. Man alive, I appreciate you being 12 months YouTube member, 1 year. Amazing. I appreciate you. You're sharing a Bible verse, Matthew 7:15, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. A lot of YouTube prophets these days, well, it's not just YouTube, it's anything. You know, the world operates in a way where man has to deal with the prana he receives. So, man alive, let's talk about this for a moment, because I really appreciate you being a long-term member. When we receive prana from the world, and it's the same thing for me, family. Like, I'm here, I'm communicating with many more people than just me. I'm a one individual, and I'm here communicating with tens of thousands of people, technically. Over the next couple days, that's how many views this will get. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of the responsibility that has. Now, I have a responsibility to take and receive this prana and now utilize it for my people. And this is a difference. A lot of the time what happens is we start to feed off of prana and we just want more and more and more, and we don't know how to manage that prana. We don't know how to manage that life force essence that's coming into our reality tunnel. So what does that do? You either become greedy, you start to take advantage of people, you start to tell people that I have the truth and I know what's right and I know what's wrong and I know what wisdom is and I know this is nonsense. The man who tells you that he has the answer is a man that you should run away from. A man that's walking with you side by side in collaboration to just live and not seek answers, that's the man that you can go through the trenches with. That's the man that you could be vulnerable with. That's the true leader. That's the man who knows how to deal with prana. Then most people, it's too much for them. This is why we see in the influencer side of things, or people that become very successful, they cave in. I mean, I don't want to bring up examples here because I know that's unfair, but just very quickly, we see and specifically to crypto, because we're all here, we're all grown-ups, and I think this is something to talk about just to put a face to it all and to give an example, and hopefully we could all learn from this example, and then by looking at another man's problems or mistakes or downfall, we can actually learn and know what we would not want to do if we were in that scenario or if we were moving towards that. And I think one of those examples is BitBoy. So I don't want to take time and talk about this individual because it's not what this is about, but if you look at the rise and fall, you can see that this is clearly an individual who does not know how to work with prana. They got too much of it. They got greedy. They wanted more and more and more. They didn't know how to manage it even when they had a little. You give somebody that doesn't have the ability to deal with a little, and you give them this whole world and all of this access to so many people, and to be the one that is now held responsible for so many people's so-called wins or profits. I mean, I saw the first video from this guy's new channel when he started it after he got kicked out of his own company he started. And he talked about instantly how he has some sort of protocol to be the most profitable YouTube channel again. And I'm like, is that the promise you're making here? Good luck on round 2, homie. Again. This is a problem. This is not self-reliance. This is telling your community or your people that you need me. That's a fucking cult. This is a person who doesn't know how to deal with prana. Be careful with this shit. Be careful with somebody that says they have the truth. Be careful with somebody that says they have the answer. We've seen how this goes. How much money they can make you. How successful they can make you. Nonsense. Only you are capable of achieving your success. But all of this stuff about what we're talking about right now, and I know this is the most hardcore thing to say probably, and it affects people the most when I say it, but this is taking what you do as a baby when you're breastfeeding and you're keeping it going until you're an adult. You just can't unlatch from the nipple. That's what savior technology is. That's what savior complex is. You're literally just drinking the milk from your savior. And that's what BitBoy is. That's what a lot of these people are. It's like being a man-child, and nobody becomes self-reliant in the process, not even the person who's leading it. And this is why it has this downfall. This is why it crashes. It gets built up quick. It receives a lot of prana injection real quick, and then it explodes. Because it's an overweight, infested, parasited pig. And it had no desire to create freedom for people. All it had was the desire to receive more views, more likes, more appreciation, more people agreeing with them. And then the moment people start to see through it and they start to disagree with the same individual, they don't know how to handle that hate. They don't know how to handle that. So the man that can deal with the pain and the suffering and the disaster and the chaos, that's somebody who has this awareness. They've been through it before. And whatever's causing this particular individual, and again, I know it's not conscious sounding when we isolate somebody out and use them as an example. It's just the best we could do right now to something that's tangible to most people that focus on crypto, and to get this to be in all of our, mind as we move into the next year. I think it's important to have this conversation because next year there's going to be 15 more BitBoys that show up out of the woodwork that big social media conglomerates buy into, and they become the handlers of these so-called influencers. And then those are the people that are going to get the million YouTube subscriber channels. They get pushed in the algorithm, and so many fresh new minds are going to be sucked into this bullshit that they're perpetuating. And it's not going to create any self-reliance in the process. Very few people are going to take action, probably not going to sell. They're probably going to buy in too late. And then they're going to be in this rinse-repeat cycle over and over again like they've been. Because the leadership doesn't know how to deal with prana, but they know how to advertise themselves. They know how to sell themselves. And better yet, they probably have a company, social media company behind them that could fund their advertising for them and market them accordingly. It's just marketing. So be wary of that. Now, this whole sheep versus wolf versus... there's all a little bit of that in all of us. It is. We have to be humble sometimes, right? We have to confront that. There's always a piece inside of us that would want to strategize to keep you and your family and your people the safest in regards to the collective. We're always going to operate from our egos. Like, it just is what it is. We're here in this matrix. It's a necessity sometimes. You have your dog. You probably love your dog a lot more than you love your neighbor's dog, but it doesn't mean that you hate your neighbor's dog. But the whole technology here behind how that came to be, well, it's because whose dog gives you the most prana? It's your dog. So when you take this and you bring this to the world, this is what happens where you have this community against that community, or this guy is right versus that guy is right, and it gets off the rails. And this is pretty noticeable in crypto and technical analysis and like all this YouTube channel shit. It's pretty noticeable to me. So again, be very wary of a lot of that stuff. Competition is for losers. I'll say it again. Competition is for losers. Here at WatersAbove, we are here to collaborate. We have zero desire to compete with anyone, and we also have zero desire to say that this person's wrong. We're better than this person. We're the ones that are right. I mean, all you got to do is take action and let your actions speak for you. While they're talking shit, you conquer. While the world is focusing on the rights and wrongs, you conquer. While everyone is worried about who's the one that has the truth and who's the one that's telling lies, you conquer. And how do you do that? By listening to your intuition, by reminding yourself that it is you who must be actionable and take actionable steps to change your life. Because the only way to change your life is to change your life. And if you're getting sucked into this idea that some other man can change your life for you, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. So all we're doing here is embodying self-reliance. That's it. And by showcasing self-reliance, it taps into the core of your soul, and it makes you feel something, and you go, you know what? I'm here to be self-reliant too. And the whole community that we have here, by being individually self-reliant, what do you think that does in the big picture? That changes worlds. This whole influencer on social media thing is no different than the way politics work. It's very similar to like World Wrestling Entertainment. It's WWE. Don't get lost in the sauce. See through it. Become your own influencer. How about that? Ghost said, I nearly had a fight this week. Your words helped me. I made my point and walked away. Well, that really means a lot to me. And good response. Because most people in that scenario are extremely reactionary. And then it gets violent, volatile, and off the rails. And for what? For what? Now, I don't know if it was an argument or if it was an actual physical altercation. But you made the right move. Dustin said, time to pay a visit to Microsoft Paint. I should have. I really should have. Fedcoin says, why create art when you could become art? Well, most people are having a very tough time becoming producers, and it's because they're solely feeding on everything else that's going on around them, feeding off of. It's an interesting statement, though. Why create art when you can become art? I like that. I'm just looking at some of this chat. Again, I appreciate every single one of you for being here with us. Positivity flows. I appreciate your super chat. You said my mom, who's been working through your expansion course and the crypto course, is smashing it, and I know she will listen tomorrow during her Sunday routine with waters above in her ears. Proud of you, Goose. Yo. That shit makes me happy. That's really cool, man. Or I don't know. I don't even know how to respond to that. That's just really amazing. I love when I hear like families that are tuned into what we're doing here and part of our community, and Just lights me up. Because, you know, the number one thing that I do here, and I'm going to tell you why that makes me feel that way. Because the number one thing that I do here is people that are like, I really resonate with what you're doing. And then I went to go share it with my mom or my girlfriend or whoever, or my husband. And then they're like, what the fuck are you listening to? Like, you know, it's too much. It's a lot. It's a lot, especially if it's a live stream. So when I hear this be brought up, like when I'm hearing about full families like listening and tuning in and being a part of our community and contributing to our community in any capacity, I'm just like, yes, that's beautiful, because that's what I wanted this to all be about. But I completely understand at the same time that it's a lot, you know, it's a lot. So it just gives me, not that I needed it, but it gives me hope that this is bringing people together. That's what I want to do. Like, a lot of the so-called truther movement has been so divisive. It's like ripped people apart. And if you guys have been part of this community for some time, you know the first year of live streams, when it was during the pandemic, we did everything it took here to bring people back together, to make people realize that there's more to your relationships and the people that you're collaborating with than your fucking opinion about what's going on in healthcare. Like, or what's going on with this V, or what's going on with masks, or what's going on with the pandemic, right? Like, there's so much more to you on an individual level and in your relationships for you to be divided by this little thing. And like I said earlier, like, that 2 years did everything it needed to do to divide. So that 1 year that we were in the trenches of it, I was making sure to focus on that. And it really showed me a side of myself that I didn't even know I could tap into. It helped me become closer with people in my life. Like, and I dedicated the year of 2023 to relationships in all capacities. And that really changed my life for sure. So when I'm hearing that my work, my art is bringing people together and making people, you know, closer, I just feel so honored. I'm super grateful. So that's why I reacted that way, because it just really means the world. Really means the world to me. Okay, I keep getting this question. I have to wrap up this live stream soon, family. I keep getting this question about, semen retention. First of all, can you please not spam the chat? Like, we have many, many people with us, and it's just not the move. It's not the move to spam the chat. Like, we're all mature adults here, and we're trying our best to get around to all of this and to focus on the big points and to just channel wisdom, you know? Like, we don't need a spam. I'm just reacting calmly to this, you know? The whole thing about semen retention and my take on it is everyone in the past, let's just say 3 to 4 years, that has been pushing this idea has done with it what I've seen be done in other things, which is that it becomes this insanely egoic quest to push and push and push that this is somehow solving your problems. And I will be very, very clear with everyone here right now. There is no practice that will solve a man's problems. Anything that you think of, anything, whether that be a fast, meditation, fucking mudras, sun gazing, what happens is these charlatans keep pushing that this is the solution to like your this is the answer. And semen retention took the same fucking route. And it's no different than all the other things. There is no answers. There is nothing that you will get from any individual practice that will change you until you change your beingness. I've met many, many people that have done multiple ayahuasca retreats, 20 in their life. And then they're still coming to me and booking calls with me to talk about what they're going through. We hear people say that I've done, like Dave, like I've done it all. But they still haven't made the big breakthrough. And it's because they don't actually want to do the true work, which is called forgiveness. I don't give a fuck about your semen retention, about your fasts, about any of that. At the end of the day, this all comes back to a very simple thing: forgiveness and gratitude. Until a man can walk in grace, it doesn't matter what he really practices, because it's your present responsiveness that is what makes you the real higher power. It's what makes you higher self. I've just heard it all, family, and I know a lot of people want to hear WatersAbove say, do the semen retention, like fast on the 3 days where the moon is moving through your sun sign at birth. Like, all of that stuff is cool. I'll talk about it in the Decoding Mastermind too, and I've talked about it on live streams here many times. But if people really want my take on this stuff, like, we need to build that foundation of what I just said. It's that there is no one way that's going to solve anything. And if anyone perpetuates any of this stuff as a solution to your problems, it's just really where it gets off the rails, and it builds expectations. And when you have expectations that don't come through, that's what makes you feel like a failure. Or if you have some sort of short success with it, you now become the guy who's walking around town telling everyone you found the fucking solution. You have the juice. And you don't even know that you're now a new snake oil salesman, because what worked for you doesn't work for everyone else. It's until you are ready for it on an individual level that it will transcend you through what it is that you're working through. That is all. So I'm just over it. I'm over this whole semen retention talk because it's become so buzzwordy, and it's like the keto diet or fucking putting butter in your coffee in the morning. Like, it's a fad. It worked for a moment. It's going to continue to do what it does, which is that it's going to be something that people could repackage and sell on to people as some fucking ultimate solution, and it just ain't. Like, here's the thing. I'll tell you the last thing, and then we got to move on. People just have a lot of sexual healing to do. Like, they have a lot of trauma that is stored that they're dealing with. That is what we need to work on. Like, I get it. Porn addiction is big. It's huge. Porn is everywhere, man. You drive in your car and there's porn on the fucking on the billboard. It's everywhere. And we just have so many other things that are bigger than this topic of semen retention to talk about, which will get way more done. It'll have a lot more utility, because we're going to work on the underlying foundation of what led to those addictions. Semen retention is not going to remove your porn addiction, by the way. It's not going to do that. The same way going on your ayahuasca trips or taking your mushrooms is not going to relieve you of your time addiction and worry. Your worry about the future or your trauma of the past. It's not going to do that for you. It's not going to do anything. It will for a couple of weeks. And then you're going to go back to life with the same programming you had, dealing with the same shit, and it's going to resurface as the thing wears out. Now, I'm a proponent for psychedelics. I think they're great. But you don't hear me pushing them as some sort of like end-all be-all of your consciousness expansion, because it ain't. I've practiced it all. I've practiced semen retention. I've done many rounds of this Christos activation. I've done many multi-day dry fasts. I've done almost a full month of just juice fasting. I've done many 1 week water fasts. I mean, I've done it, whatever it is. 10-minute plus cold plunges. I don't even need to bring this up though. But if for the people that need some sort of proof and they want to know like what's up, here it is. None of that made me better. What made me a better man was admitting that I have to forgive my father. What made me a better man was honoring and being more grateful for the women in my life. What made me a better man was realizing that there's people who love me and that I need to reciprocate because I'm a very focused and dedicated, and I just have this kind of drive behind me where I will leave a lot of people in the shadows in that journey. I had to wake up to a lot of this. Some of those tools helped me along the way. Sure. But I see these tools becoming weaponized as they're propagandized and advertised in a way that basically mimics the same nonsense bullshit that we see in every other fad or trend. So let's be cautious when we get into these things and not make them into this trend or fad. That's really all I'm saying. It won't make you a better man to do any of this stuff. Being vulnerable will make you a better man. Talking openly with some people in your life that you have a porn addiction could very well change your life tenfold more than the practice of semen retention. Just admitting where you're at could help. Think about this. I think this is a great place to actually sign off. I'm going to quickly look through the last couple of parts of our chat, and then we'll take this and move this along. Let me get through these super chats really quickly. Blue T says, why I love people but also think bad about them. Well, okay. Blue T, first of all, I appreciate your super chat. You're saying you love people, but you also think bad about them. It's because you are unable to practice unconditional love, and you are letting a lot of things in your programming get in the way of how you relate to them. Remember, the word relationship has the word relate in it. So if you quote unquote love people, but you have these negative thoughts about them, it's not because you relate to them. It's because you're operating in an experiment with them. And what I want you to do next time is when you start to have these bad thoughts about them, pause, reflect, and I want you to instantaneously think about, how do I relate to this person? Because when you have bad thoughts about them, what you're doing is the opposite. You're thinking about the distortion and the static between you. You're thinking about the one difference you have when there's 50 things that you relate to them in. That is a relationship. Do that. Find the way that you relate to them. 4D, I appreciate your super chat. I don't see any text or anything. But I appreciate you. If I see any questions coming up in the chat that's from you, I will address them. Well, you asked the immediate question you asked, and we'll quickly run through this. You said, can we say that XRP is the cabal coin? No, it's not even about, XRP clearly works directly with banks, and the goal and agenda of all banks and all fintech companies and all companies tied to blockchain is CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. So there's an element to us wanting to call XRP the cabal coin or whatever, but that's just unsophisticated. Here's the thing, 4D, it's just an opportunity for you. It's just an opportunity. Just take advantage of it. Look at what Amazon became. They basically run the fucking world. It's but if you invested in them after the .com bubble, you made bank. So I think that's really all to say here. All of these things tied back to money have something nefarious behind them. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just belief. You just believe in, and I'm not talking directly at you, I just mean in general. We all just have our belief of what value is. Some people believe that XRP is valuable. Some people believe that Bitcoin is valuable. Sometimes the same person that thinks XRP is valuable thinks Bitcoin has no value. You see, this is just a game of belief. All right. So when we're investing, when we develop an investment thesis, which is a big topic that I speak about here in this crypto mastermind course, as we're developing an investment thesis, we take a lot of those thoughts and just sideline them. It doesn't serve us to know if XRP is the cabal coin or not. It just doesn't. It's an investment opportunity. The whole time people were talking shit about Bitcoin when it used to be less than 1 penny, and then they watched it go to 60, almost 70,000. Look at what that did to them. They were calling it a scam time and time again, but it's like, did that ever help change or facilitate wealth in their life? No. Does it serve me to know that Amazon is a new world order, tech conglomerate that's stealing all of our data to repackage it to help the growth of artificial intelligence? No. Like, I already know that this world is heading in that direction. But if I see it's an opportunity to invest, which is taking my one form of belief called fiat money and converting that into a stock, then that can grow. And then I can use those profits to serve my purpose more on this realm, then that is what it is. Now, I'm not here supporting any of this shit, but I'm also not going to throw stones at it. I'm very cautious. I brought this up in the beginning of like maybe 2 or 3 videos ago on YouTube. I talked about be very cautious of who you're supporting, and that goes on the other direction. Be very cautious of who you're stoning. All right, let me move through this really quickly. I have to hurry up and get out. One on one. I appreciate your super chat. You said to live is to love is to live. Laugh at the past, laugh while in class. After all, life is a school of comedy. If you don't allow it to be lifelong robbery. You spitting bars right now, homie? I appreciate you. Yeah, this place is comedy and tragedy. That's what the Matrix is. The Matrix is comedy and tragedy. And one of the purest forms of alchemy is to laugh at the tragedy, to be able to not take it so seriously, but to learn from it and also not to avoid it. Be aware that your tears become your smiles. Leslie Aberlin, I really appreciate that super chat. That's very generous of you. Sending you lots of love. You said just send in love and appreciation for your art. I appreciate you. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And sending you lots of love. Eleonora, I appreciate you joining in. Mr. Jansen, I appreciate you for holding it down today. It means a lot to me, brother. All right, we're almost. Joe the Foe said, do you talk to blockchain backer? No, I do not, but everyone wants us to collab, so perhaps that's a collaboration opportunity, but I'm not entirely sure if he'd be interested in my work because I've had people directly tell me that they don't like my work because it doesn't align with blockchain backers. And also a lot of people have said that they think that he would think that all of my stuff is just like woo-woo and it doesn't actually affect the markets. Now, I'm not saying that he said that to my face. I'm just saying what I've heard other people say, and lots of people have commented back when people are saying they would love for us to collaborate. They've commented on top of that being like, I doubt he would care about what Waters has to say. Even though I'm a technical analyst, like I could run charts all day on with anyone, whether you're a seasoned Forex trader, you trade precious metals, leverage with crypto, whatever, you name it. Like I'm an actual professional trader and technical analyst. This is what I do. The esoterica and the decoding is just icing on the cake for those that are more like-minded, the people, my real people, the ones that are tuning in here. Like, I'd rather talk about that than really just only talk about charts. But I could run the charts all day. I mean, anyone who watches my Red Pill podcasts, I've done over 120 podcasts where we're going over 4 to 5 altcoins every single week, and we're freestyling every single one of them with no preparation. I'm looking at new charts for the first time almost every week. And the analysis on that has been pretty mind-blowing when we look at the big swings in the market over the past year and a half especially. How many automatic rallies we called, how many bottom targets we've hit. I mean, look at just Hex alone. That's like one of the projects that really I was put out onto the world stage with because of these interviews that I was getting asked to look at the project during their live streams, during the interviews that I had. It's very rare that people that are in a particular community have invited me onto their show. And in that case, we've been public on these interviews where I have no control over if it gets shared or not shared because it's not on my channel. And we've hit all these targets. So I think that on my end, I would love to talk with Blockchain Backer. And if he only wanted to talk with me about crypto regarding the charts and TA, then we could have that discussion. And I said the same thing when I first collaborated with Bearable Bull. I said, if you don't want to talk about the decoding, and that's fine. It's all good. I completely understand. Like, it's not for everyone. That was the purpose of making the channel have part 1 of the video and part 2 of the video. The video opens up with what I believe is the most important part of this market, which is that the market runs on astrology, numerology, and Gematria. That is what I see to be the truth of truths. And then I'll give you the TA as well. So if you're somebody who doesn't like the decoding, boom, you have the other half of the video to enjoy. It was done like that on purpose. I'm completely aware that most people don't really care to take the red pill. And that's fine. I'm not here to judge those people. So I would love to communicate with Bearable Bull. You guys could let him know that. If you're anyone who's closer to him in touch, I think it's an opportunity, actually. I think his people will see that I have a lot to say and I could keep up the conversation without going the esoterica route. We don't need to. And you guys know me, how many interviews I've done where I talk to people that it really has nothing to do with the decoding. We just have a general conversation. And I think that's what we're all about here. Again, the collaboration. So, but I don't talk to Blockchain Backer, and I haven't had the opportunity to connect with him. But I mean, the last thing I'll say on that is I have had some calls lately where I know it went completely the opposite of what Blockchain Backer was believing, specifically to XRP. And like, yeah, we're at like 40, 50 cent XRP right now. So, I mean, the 80 to 90 cent call that I had was very, very methodical. I took a long time to develop that. Like, I know Mr. Jansen's in our chat right now. He can vouch for this as a long-time supporter of my art and community member, that I was very dialed in with my TA and my decoding behind that 80 to 90 cent XRP thing. I didn't just pull that out of my ass. Like, I put in the work to come up with that target. And I traded that target. I had all my limit orders set accordingly to it. Now, that was, I had a high level of conviction there. And that's so far how it's turned out. I mean, with XRP coming back to 41 cents, then I don't even need to back this up anymore. It did exactly what we saw coming. And with that being said, like, I hope that we're all learning through this to not get hopium as like the main priority or influence in your investment thesis, because that's going to destroy a lot of people. A lot. Too many people are getting sucked into news narratives running the market. I disagree. The market runs on esoterica. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up very, very, very soon. Just getting through this. LV, I appreciate your super chat, the dancing pair. That's really cute. I love this when somebody comes into the chat and they say, I think I ended up in the wrong place. Good luck to all you guys. See ya. Like, imagine you walked into a restaurant and you made an announcement to everyone who was sitting in the restaurant. You were like, I think I'm in the wrong place, everyone. Can you hear me? Do you guys who are eating right now hear me? Oh, yes, you hear me now? Okay, I think I'm in the wrong place. I'll see you later. It's like, who? Okay. Why even say? It's so interesting. People are very humans. Hashtag humans. It's like you walked into a bank and you're like, hey guys, I'm here to get money from the bank. What are you guys here doing? Like something like dumb like that, you know? Why make that announcement? People need prana, man. People need prana. People like need somebody to notice them. You know what I mean? That's why people leave reviews. Like, people leave like Yelp reviews and shit. They want somebody to look at that. That makes them feel better about themselves. It's amazing. All right. And getting through this chat. Linda Lee, last super chat, I believe. You said, "Hi, Waters. Can you talk on diet, fasting, your diet, and how important it is to eat correctly so we can think more clearly in these times? Love your message. Much love." Linda, I appreciate you. My whole perspective on diet and fasting is that you need to first realize that fasting is an art form. Fasting is not something that's like a fad that you just do once in a while. It's a lifestyle change. And the same thing goes to diet and consumption. So I look at it long term. I look at it like we make small changes over time to get you to homeostasis and to get you to equilibrium. And that means that you need to focus on hydration as your main priority in health. So for me, I think having a majority of your caloric intake in fresh, natural fruit is the most ideal way to live your life. Now, for all the other foods, this would require long, lengthy, discussions, but let's just simplify it and say, keep it plant-based. Keep it plant-based. And the more water the food has, the more water content the food has in its natural state, the more healing it is, the more healing potential it has. And all herbs are medicine, all right? But the medicine doesn't work if it's entering a vessel that is dehydrated. So just be aware of this. Step number 1 is about rehydrating the body cellularly. Get hydrated. This will cure all things. The cure of all cures is being hydrated. You're a water-based being. That's what you are. So everything that is cooked, everything that is void of liquid, dry, is not food that your body can actually utilize for healing. It only disturbs the gut and the digestive system. I know this is harsh, but it just is what it is. So if you can come up with a system that works for you where you could have maintenance of hydration and then you're eating for pleasure, which we all do, right? That's the tongue is the sin. Then you can create, a meal plan where it's not just eating salads all day, or you're not just fasting every day of your life. You need balance. So I preach balance. I can't really be telling you what to eat because, that's not my place in things. And I'm changing up what I eat quite often. But I know that when I start to feel off balance, I know exactly what I need to do. And that's really what matters most. Whatever I have in my tool belt, I will use that tool kit, that tool belt as needed. I know what makes me feel the best, and that's being hydrated. Also, Linda, I talk about this very, very thoroughly inside of this course that's on sale right now until tomorrow, this expansion mastermind course. If you look at chapter 7, it's a full course discussing this. So you'll see here, right now it has 15 total videos. Let me go, let me log out and show you exactly what's included. So chapter 7, Heal Thyself. It starts out building a foundation of what health is. Again, health, heal is in the word. Heal. We overlook that quite often. Diet has the word die in it. Digestion has the word die in it. When you are dieting, you are dying. Again, be very weary of these word spells. So it builds a foundation, and then it goes into fasting and detoxing at a very advanced level, and then it gets into some, little tips and tricks to utilize things like mudras, breathing techniques, exercise, moving the body, which is stimulating the lymphatic system, which you talk about quite a bit. And then things such as weight loss and weight gain, depending on where you're at, because some people do need to gain weight. Majority of people are working on trying to lose a little bit of adiposity, trying to get rid of some excess toxicity on the body, which is excess body fat. And this course completely, answers all of those questions. But generally gave you everything you need to know to get started. Raimundo Ramirez, I appreciate you being a YouTube member. Appreciate your support. Sending you lots of love. And like I said, in closing, I have this course sale available until tomorrow. I appreciate any and all of your support. It really means the world to me. And tomorrow I will be doing the Red Pill podcast over on Patreon. I'm looking forward to that since it will be the last official day of JUBILEE. Tonight at tomorrow night at sundown. So that podcast will be released right into the end of it. I'm really excited to get into that, to wrap up everything we've been talking about for this entire year. And it's going to be fun. In last week's podcast, we did a live stream. So that was definitely interesting to spend so much extra time hanging out with you guys, answering some of your questions. This week, we're just going to do a traditional red pill where it'll be pre-recorded just because of the schedule, but it will be lit and packed full of gems nonetheless, as usual. So I'll catch some of you tomorrow on that. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your weekend in the Matrix. Much love.